What was your most embarrassing hospital trip of all time? I was 16 and sitting in AP chemistry when it started. This dull ache in my groin that gradually escalated into something I couldn't ignore. At first I tried to tough it out, shifting in my seat, trying to focus on whatever Mr. Patterson was saying about molecular bonds. But the pain kept getting worse, sharper, more intense, until I raised my hand and asked to use the bathroom. In the hallway, I walked as normally as I could manage, which wasn't very normal at all. I made it to the bathroom and locked myself in a stall, trying to figure out what was happening. And I checked for lumps, hernias, anything that would explain why it felt like someone was squeezing my testicles in a vice. Everything seemed normal, just incredibly tender. I figured since I was already there, I might as well try to pee. Maybe that would help somehow. I finished, flushed, and then the room started spinning. The fluorescent lights above me blurred together, and the next thing I knew, I was on the floor, staring up at the water-stained ceiling tiles. Me too, Paul. I laid there for a minute, completely freaked out. Pain so bad it made me pass out seemed like something I should probably get checked out. I pulled myself together and walked to the nurse's office. Mrs. Henderson was eating a sandwich at her desk when I came in. "I'm having really bad pain," I said, trying to be vague. "Down there," and I passed out in the bathroom. She looked at me over her glasses. "Down where?" "My, testicles." She sighed like I'd just told her I had a hangnail. "Take some Tylenol and call your mom when you get home." "I passed out," I repeated. "You'll be fine. Go back to class." The rest of the school day was torture. I could barely walk. I couldn't sit still. By the time I got home, I was almost in tears. My mom was in the kitchen when I walked in. "Mom, something's really wrong. My balls are killing me." 10 minutes later, we were in the car heading to urgent care. The doctor at the clinic was a large Indian man named Dr. Patel. I explained my symptoms again, trying not to die of embarrassment while my mom sat right there listening. His expression changed immediately. "How long have you had this pain?" "Since this morning, maybe 4 or 5 hours." "Are you sexually active?" "No." "Are you sure?" "Yes, I'm sure." "You can tell me. Your mother can leave the room." "I'm not sexually active, I swear." He asked me 3 more times, each time more insistent, like he thought I was lying to protect my mom's feelings or something. Finally, he seemed to believe me. "We need to get you to the hospital immediately," he said. "This could be testicular torsion. If we don't treat it quickly, you could lose one or both testicles." The drive to the hospital was the longest 20 minutes of my life. My mom kept glancing over at me, her hands tight on the steering wheel. Neither of us said much. At the ER, they took me back pretty quickly. A nurse asked me the same questions. Yes, I was in pain. No, I wasn't sexually active. Yes, I was absolutely sure. They wheeled me into an ultrasound room. The technician was this guy in his 30s who looked weirdly like my youth group leader from church. He squeezed what felt like half a bottle of freezing cold gel onto my scrotum while explaining testicular torsion to me in excruciating detail. Basically, one testicle wraps around the other, cuts off blood flow. You've got maybe a 6-hour window before tissue death. Since you're at 5 hours already, there's a decent chance we'll need to remove at least one. He said this casually, like he was telling me the weather forecast, while moving the ultrasound wand around my junk. My mom was still in the room. This was officially the worst day of my entire life. The ultrasound came back clear. No torsion, which should have been good news, except then they decided to test me for STDs. "I'm not sexually active," I said for what felt like the 100th time. "We need to rule everything out," the nurse said. They took blood, they swabbed things. My mom sat in the corner reading a magazine like this was completely normal. An hour later, a doctor came back in with a clipboard. "So, the test came back positive for chlamydia." I stared at him. My mom stared at him. Nobody said anything for a solid 10 seconds. "That's impossible," I finally said. "I've never even had sex. The most I've ever done is..." I glanced at my mom. "Nothing. I haven't done anything." More tests, more questions, more humiliation. Finally, a different doctor came in and explained that I had epididymitis, an infection of the epididymis that can happen from swimming or wrestling. The initial STD test had been a false positive. They gave me antibiotics and sent me home. My mom didn't say a word the entire drive back. We never spoke about it again. I quit the swim team the next week.